I got a boat. So this is my new boat. It is a Perception Pescador Pro 120. I'm not gonna go too deep into the specifics of the boat just because there's tons of videos out there already. It is an older model. I bought it used. This is, you guys have already seen it in a video, but this is what I've been taking out. In this video, I'm just gonna walk you through what I like, what I don't like, and what my plans are for this kayak. So the first thing I want to talk about is the front wheel well up here. It's not a closed hatch, which I do like quite a bit. I like that it's open and I can stick things in here. It's easy to take off, it's easy to loosen. You just have to adjust this right here and it'll tighten down or loosen as you need it. Generally when I'm out fishing, this is kind of where I like stow my paddle if I'm not using it. What I've mainly been doing is stowing my catch board right in here just because there's not really a good spot for it to fit anywhere else. So the catch board goes in here in case I need it. Can easily take it out, lay it across, measure a fish. And I've also been stowing my paddle on the other side. I do like these little grooves right here. I want to find a better solution for my catch board just because I'm not a huge fan of the way it's sitting right now because it takes away one of the main features of the boat, which is these little grooves right here for your rods to sit in. So when you're not using one, it sits in here perfectly and it's not like bouncing around or anything. It's got like a nice little groove. So I'm kind of looking around seeing what I can do to improve where I stow this. It might be bungeed in the back somewhere, or it might be attached to some magnets somewhere on the actual hull. The next spot is this hatch right here. It is a dry hatch, so I just cleaned this thing so everything is a little bit wet, but this is a battery space for your transducer and your fish finder. Stick it in here and it's got holes back through here so you can feed the wire. You drop your transducer right in there, or you connect your transducer right in there, and then you attach your fish finder here. So everything fits in here nice and compact. If you get a small enough battery, you can fit everything in there. And it's attached pretty well. Haven't gotten any water in there except for just now when I cleaned it. So it's been pretty good. The next thing that I like is right in there. It's a little cup holder. Actually didn't realize it was a cup holder until I was like midway through my first send in this thing, but the cup holder is nicely placed. I can lean forward, grab my drink if I need to, and nothing really like jumps out. Other than that, I can use it to like stow things like broken baits, things like that. The other thing I really do like is the foot pads are adjustable. So I can adjust them as needed, and it's great. The way I have this set up now is I have a rod holder here, and I have a Yak Attack camera mount right up front there that gives me that front angle that you guys have already seen. I have this right here for my deeper. It works great, keeps the deeper in the water. And yeah, everything's kind of within reach. I can turn it, put a rod in there, take it off. If I need to adjust it, I can turn it this way, angle it more out, and just do what I want to do with it. But yeah, it's pretty solid. I like the gear tracks put in. I like these little loops here. I usually attach some line clippers on one of these sides and then my paddle leash on the other side. So whichever way I decide to go, the opposite's usually done. Just keeps everything within reach. I don't have to do much moving around. The chair's really comfortable, nothing's really digging into me. It's adjustable, so if I want to sit a little bit more upright, I can. Oh, and then this little well spot right here. I've seen a lot of complaints about people not liking this area because it collects water. It's not really a big problem for me. I do stick a tackle box here or some plastics. And the reason why it's not a big problem for me is because I use the Plano Edge series. So one, it's watertight, so if water does collect in here, it's not gonna get in. But if it does get in, because it has the water wicking material, it does have the restrictor built in, it's gonna protect my stuff and I'm not too worried about moisture getting inside. So I really like this spot. It fits a 3600 box pretty easy. I haven't really had any issues with it outside of, you know, it collecting water. So the chair itself is super comfortable. I do like it quite a bit. I just wish it was a little bit higher because it makes getting out or standing up a little bit difficult at the angle. Like my knees are basically like right underneath my chest, which makes it a little difficult. So what I've been doing, if I do want to stand up, is I have this rope that I use to tether the kayak from to the front of my car. I'll use it and I'll pull myself up by standing up. I haven't done it too often, and I'll get more into why in a minute, but I just wish it was a little bit taller. I've attached this Wilderness Systems plier holder here. This was recommended by my buddy Alex, Swamp Rat Fishing. Shout out to him. He has it on his kayak. So super easy to use, keeps your pliers handy when you need them. And the thing that I like about it more than it being handy is it's very secure. It's actually kind of hard to do it one-handed, so you don't have to worry about your pliers just like jumping out. And then the back storage. I do like the back storage area. It's pretty big. This isn't necessarily how I usually have this. As you can see, it's pretty loose. I'm just kind of sitting it on the bungees. Normally I'll run the bungees through here somehow so that it's a little bit more secured in, but it's pretty big. You can fit quite a bit of stuff in here. So those are all the likes. Now we get into the dislikes. Like I said, I do like this boat. I bought it used, so can't really complain too much, but there are some things that I wish it did better. So for example, as you can see, I got this tough crate back here, and I have rod holders on both sides, which is great, but because of the way the well is shaped back here, the back storage area is, it will not sit like it's supposed to. This is how I wish it sat. It will not sit this way, just because it's too narrow towards the back end. I know that's great for cutting through water, and it makes it so that you can maneuver easier. I just wish it was a slightly bit wide enough to fit a full crate and the rod holders. So not that big of a deal, but it's kind of a pain that this has to sit sideways, because instead of this opening straight back, it opens to the side. And if I open this top container, which does have quite a bit of things in it, it does shift the weight a little bit. So if this isn't secured properly, it can tip out. At least it felt like it was going to tip out on me the first time I took this out on the kayak. The other thing I don't like about this kayak is these rod holders. They're a little too shallow. I'm not comfortable putting anything else besides an ultralight in there, so I don't really use these for anything except for my net. I do plan on adding some rod holders, some flush mount rod holders, maybe here to the side of each side, and maybe 1 and 2 to replace here, just because I don't want to waste space. But definitely going to add some flush mount rod holders on each side, most likely facing forward. So if I can, angled somewhat forward, so that I can use them for trolling, or just put it in there so I can just retire whatever I need to do, help keep things out of the way. And of course I'll use these leash hooks right here so I can secure things. But honestly, I'm not a fan of these rod holders. Like you can see that, like this is not that long. That's about as deep as that's getting in. I just wish it was a little bit deeper, so that things were a little bit more secure. The other thing I don't like is this well right here holds a lot of water. That can easily be fixed by adding some scuppers here. Just haven't done it, but just by design, I don't like that it holds so much water in this section. And like I mentioned, the other thing I don't like, this chair is just a little bit too low and makes it a little difficult to stand up. So I'll be looking for a solution to raise this up just a little bit. Not too much so that it's top heavy and tips over easier, but I'll definitely be experimenting and seeing what I can do to make this a little easier. The other thing I don't like is this paddle holder here. It's pretty solid when you have 2 hands and just take it off, but to put it back on, it just does not, it's just not easy to do it on the water one-handed. You need both hands. So what I'm probably going to do is install some kind of snap mount so that I can just snap it in and then keep this leash for that extra security. I'll definitely be looking to upgrade this paddle section right here so that it's just a little bit more easier to use on the water. And then the final thing is how slick this floor gets. I usually wear like some kind of grippy shoes, but even then when it's really wet, I'm just not comfortable standing up yet. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to add scuppers to this section and then add some kind of grip floor, some rubberized floor, so that I can just feel a little bit more confident that I'm not going to slip on the boat when it's wet. So there are 3 more upgrades that I'm going to make to this boat. One of them being an anchor trolley and an anchor. I want to be able to position myself to fish so that I'm not constantly adjusting with the paddle like I have been. So I feel like an anchor will definitely help. Now I know I'm going to sway a little bit still with the current, but installing an anchor trolley with an anchor I think would help solve that. The other thing is a fish finder, a dedicated fish finder. I've been using a deeper, you can see the mount here in the arm. I'm using a Deeper Pro Plus, and it's been great, but the only thing I don't like, you have to use your phone as the monitor or the screen. After like 2 hours of using it, the battery on my phone just dies. So I could carry an additional battery, like an external battery for the phone, but that kind of defeats the purpose. Another thing to manage. So I think a dedicated fish finder mounted here, battery in here, cable goes down through here, would be a much better solution than continuing to use the Deeper Pro. Now that's not to say I'm not going to keep using the Deeper Pro. I just think having a dedicated solution long-term would be better for me, so I'm not managing more devices than I need to be. And then the last thing is going to be a GoPro mount for the back end of the kayak. The reason for that is so that when I am fishing, I can get a similar angle like this, and you can kind of see what I'm seeing. As of now, I've been using this front mount right here, and you can see me, and I can turn it around and you can see like the tip of the boat, but I'd like to be able to show a little bit more scenery. So it's not really a fishing upgrade, but I think it'll definitely be beneficial in the long run for the quality of videos, so I can get you guys more angles. I did get my hands on some additional cameras. Thank you, Ethan, for selling those to me. Big shout out to the Online Outdoorsman. I'm thinking from here on out we'll have 3 total angles, one in the front right here, one in the back. Once I get that boom installed, I'll probably have to install a mount and the arm itself, and then most likely a chest mount or a head mount, so that you can also see directly in front of me. That way I have some options, some angles. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. All right, so yeah, that's the boat. Every good boat needs a good name. So it's red. I got it in North Carolina. The name's gonna be Cheerwine. So since I moved to North Carolina, I discovered Cheerwine, and man, that stuff is addicting. So that's the name of this beautiful red vessel. Let me know if you have any additional modifications that you think I should make.